Hi, this is Gilles, the radio prepper. If you've been following the channel, you know that I print 3D stuff for ham radio all the time. Actually, recently I've been printing cases for mesh-tastic devices like this one or this one. That's the Bambu case. I'll talk a bit more about that. The H1 case. I mean, there's a plethora of cases that I've printed for friends. So my printers were working over time, sometimes 2 printers at a time, overnight, you know, and I print stuff all the time. So 3D printing and ham radio go hand in hand. I've been very happy with my printers, and I'll tell you what prompted me to decide to upgrade, basically. I got in touch with Chris in the UK, who make these cases, the Aband case for the HTech V3, and those are great cases because you can put them on a desk and you have the antenna coming up here. He has a version with the antenna coming from the side. That's the back, front. And so he sent me the file. You can get the file, buy the file, or buy the case already made. I suggest you get the case already made, and I'll tell you why. I printed the case with my printer, and all the other cases that I've printed turned out very good, no problem. This one, the tolerances are pretty tight. So because it just clips on, you don't need any screws or anything, so it's very convenient because you just clip on the ends and that's it, you're done. Actually, I can show you his case, the one he sent me, because I messed up and it's pretty funny, but it will show you the installing the HTech in the case, just a few minutes. Alright, you guys know I love epoxy and goops and glues of all kinds, but I'm really pretty bad with it, and usually it ends up everywhere. In any case, I'm going to rough up the battery holder here a little bit. Now you don't have to glue it, but you know who you're dealing with here, so a little bit of alcohol to clean it up. It's more than enough. It's too much, actually. So here's the case with the HTech V3 here. It's not quite in there. It is furnished with the wire connected to the battery holder, connected to the button, and it's very well done. It also comes with the pigtail here, the SMA to IPEX connector. This is not the one I got it with. It was a little bit longer, but yeah, it doesn't matter. And what I have to do now is put the card in the case. Now it is a very, the tolerances are pretty tight. Actually, I was not able to print this case with my own printer because it wasn't precise enough. Now the quality of this case is really, really good. Much better than what I can produce. So I'm pretty happy with it. I just have to plug in the antenna here. And that connector you have to plug in, but it very flat on the male connector, and press it down. The button comes in the off position. It is press fit into the front face. And once again, I'm amazed at the precision. Perfect. There is a little piece that goes on top here. Amazing. Yeah, I could not print that. It didn't work. Now it should... oh, it fell off. I should have pressed it a little harder, maybe put a little bit of a dab of epoxy in there. And it's because I pressed the button in, that's why. You know what, I can press fit it. It should be press fit. Perfect. Whoops. Yeah. I couldn't even fit mine, the one I printed. I couldn't even close the lid, basically. I put an 18650 battery cell in it now, and I'm going to close the lid. That should do it, right? Whoops, nope. Done. I think I did something wrong here, didn't I? Of course I did. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? It didn't go as deep as it should have, I guess. I must have caught some wire in the back here, but darn. So I can close it, but I don't know. It's glued with epoxy. Oh, darn. Oh, well, it's not too bad. I mean, oh, maybe I can. Nah. Oop, yeah, I messed up, guys. But hey, doesn't matter, right? Because we look at it from the front and it's awesome. It's pretty darn cute, if you ask me. Sits nicely on the desk. Of course, the screen is not flickering in reality. That's the camera, the phone camera that does that, but it's pretty darn nice. So the print seemingly turned out all right, but when I tried to put the HTech inside the case here, it didn't fit. And I tried to close the lid on it and broke the screen. So I contacted Chris and he said, well, I'll just send you one. Actually, it's in my truck. This one I printed with my new printer, we're gonna see. And he said, it's probably your printer settings or the precision of the printer itself. And I started thinking about it, you know. Do I want really more precision? And for cases like, no pun intended, for cases like this, yes, I need more precision. And although my printers are good, they're not up to the level of, you know, what I needed. So I thought I might upgrade the printer, and I started doing research, trying to find what the best printers would be. And I came up with two brands. One is Orange, you know it. And the second one is Bambu Labs. And Bambu Labs is a fairly new brand, and they just stormed the market with amazing products. And I thought, yeah, maybe I should try to get a Bambu Lab. So I contacted them, and they sent me the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. Now, I wasn't expecting something like that. I was interested in the, I think it's the P2P, I believe, which is the same printer but doesn't have an enclosure. The X1 Carbon does have an enclosure. Full disclosure, enclosure, disclosure. Bambu Labs sent me the printer. I'm not paid for the review, but they did not tell me to be nice to the product, you know, and they did not ask me to see the video before I publish it. Some brands do ask for that, and they didn't, which shows, I mean, to me, shows some confidence in their product. And I have to mention that, you know, I do refuse a lot of products for review because either they're not related or closely related to ham radio, or they're just not something I believe is a good product or relevant to our subject. And I've had companies like, I had one company actually contact me to promote a hair implant service. You know, I'm really not the guy to promote hair implantation. Actually, I do need a haircut really bad. So, yeah, usually when I agree to review products, because I believe it's at least a decent one. And I told them, you know, if I find anything bad, I'm gonna say so. And they said, just go right ahead. So I got the printer, and boy, am I really impressed. I mean, and I'm not very often impressed to that level, but by the way, the printer came very well packed. Everything was screwed on, the bed was screwed down, so nothing could move in there. The automatic spool system was inside the printer. Nothing could move. So very safe shipping, very safe packaging. This printer is amazing. The speed is out of this world. It's mind-boggling. A print that would take 4 hours before, I can do in 1 hour. It's that fast. It's extremely precise, and the enclosure allows me to print filaments like maybe ABS or nylon and stuff like that. TPU, I'm not so sure because the filament has to go through a tube to go to the head. So I'm not certain about that. I'll have to try that. So I reprinted the Aband case, and look at that precision here. For instance, the buttons, which with my other printers, everything was kind of glued together. You know, the buttons didn't work, but this is extremely precise. And I found that the supports are easier to remove for some reason. I don't know if it's the slicer, Bambu Lab uses Bambu Lab Studio, which is a slicer that's based on the Prusa slicer. So it's not Cura. Took me a little bit to get used to, but I don't know, I think it might be a better slicer than Cura actually. And you can see the finished surface is really smooth. I mean, there is no, you don't feel anything running your finger on it. All right, I'm gonna stop babbling and show you the printer, and I have to go through the calibration. The first calibration is a bit longer because it has to do a lot of stuff like motor, sound calibrations to do weird things that other printers don't do. But I'm sure it's pretty useful for the result. And I'll show you the printer, and we'll print a few things. Here is a quick view of the printer, the way I mounted it on my bench here. Don't mind the other stuff. You can see here it looks very, very nice, kind of a brushed aluminum look. You have a better view. Very good looking printer. The X1 also has a multi-spool system, which allows you to have multiple spools of different colored filaments, and those filaments can be automatically imported, by the printer, so you can have multi-colored prints. Now, I'm probably not going to use that, but I'm going to keep it just in case, because hey, you never know. So it's calibrating. I wasn't expecting it. This is entirely automatic, once again. I just logged into the account that I had to create on the phone app, and also connected the printer on my Wi-Fi network. Oh, that was very simple, very quick. I have no idea what it's doing. That's weird. This printer has a LiDAR radar, by the way, which is amazing. I guess to find out if there's any ongoing problem during the print. Sweeping XY mesh mode, okay. Nothing in the bottom. You can see the size of the bed is printed here, 256 by 256 by 256 millimeters. Motor noise calibration. So I'm making a vacuum cleaner wheel for my parents because they keep breaking. I've made them in PLA, PLA Plus, PLA Meta, and they keep breaking because it's a bad design. This part here is way too thin. So I'm going to choose the ABS, Bambu ABS, and I just leave everything on default, guys. I'm not bothering with all those settings. Later I will get into them and try to understand everything, but right now I don't really have to. The only thing I'm going to change is a little bit more infill at 33%. And then I'm going to go to preview, make sure I have the right plate here, 0.4 nozzle, okay. Quality 0.12, I guess that's okay. I could put 0.2 or something like that. You know what? I'm going to put 0.2. Doesn't need to be that precise. And it'll be a little bit faster. All right, so support, yes. Enable support. Threshold angle, I always put 47%. And everything else is okay. Brim type. Automatic, I'm just going to leave on automatic. Brim width 5 millimeters, and preview. So that's going to do the slicing, and it will take 39 minutes. That's crazy. That's crazy fast, guys. Crazy fast. Bambu Lab sent me a bunch of filaments, and I am going to try ABS white. ABS is very strong, but it needs an enclosure, and it's toxic. The fumes are toxic, so you have to be careful. So I'm going to print while I'm not home, since I have only one room. Putting the filament in is so simple. You put the spool on the spool holder, then you feed it through the back here, So you feed it until it gets to the print head. Just push on it to the max. You see it coming through the filament tube here. And you know, the only thing that bugs me is that this piece of glass here is, there's no hinge, so it's not attached. And I know someday I'm gonna slip, you know, let it slip, let it go, and it's gonna shatter. I know myself. I know it's just a matter of time. So it would have been great if they had put a hinge, a couple of hinges, so that the glass doesn't fall if you let it go. Then you go to the settings, you go to filament, and you click on load. And it's gonna do it all by itself. As soon as you see the filament coming through here, now the previous one was blue, and as soon as you see it, whoops, whoa, I didn't expect that, gotta be careful. Alright, so is it coming through? Alright, now it's turning white, so I'm gonna click on done. It's going to clean that up. Awesome. Little bits of filament fall in the back of the printer. You can put a little box here and print plate. Send to printer. I'm not going to stay there while it's printing because it's toxic. So the printer has a filter, but you know what? I'm not going to risk it. You can see here it's scanning the first layer, which is amazing, by radar, mind you, and determining if everything is okay. It's crazy fast, guys, crazy fast. And here I am, a little bit later, monitoring the print remotely on my smartphone using the Android app. And that's a great feature because you can keep an eye on your print while you're not home. The printer also allows you to record a time-lapse of the print on a micro SD card. Alright, it's done. And it's very nice. Stinks like burnt plastic though. The printing is extremely fast. It's a bit noisy. It's noisier than my other printers. But it's just so fast. I mean, look at this. This, guys, is not sped up. It's the normal speed. And it's just amazing, absolutely crazy. The fact that you can monitor your print remotely also is absolutely great. You can actually also watch it on your phone while you're away from home. Of course, for that to work, the file is sent to China and it goes through the network, the cloud, and you know, you have access to it through your phone. And if you don't like the idea of connected to a server in China, that might not be the printer for you. Or you might use the, I think you probably could use just the SD card and not be connected. But if you want all the benefits of monitoring at a distance, that's what you have to do. Here are a couple of those cases for the HTech V3 Meshtastic nodes. It's the H1 case. You can find the design on printables.com. They have been printed face down with a textured plate, and I have to say I really like the result. So this printer, as you might have guessed, is going to be my main printer, maybe even the only one. I'm even planning on selling my other printers, at least one, because now I have 3 printers and a 200 square feet apartment. I don't have the space to store them. So anyways, I'm really happy about it. I'm really glad Bambu Labs sent me one. And again, I thank them for doing that. I probably would have bought the P1P for myself and built an enclosure later. I think there are panels that you can print to make an enclosure. But I have to say the X1 Carbon is so nice. I'm really glad I have one now, and you know, the way I print stuff all the time is just going to be a great tool. Actually, professionals use that printer, so if that tells you anything. Also, what's maybe even more important than speed and precision is the fact that you don't have to do any bed leveling. Anybody who's used 3D printers up to now know that bed leveling is just a big hassle, and sometimes it takes, redoing it a few times to get a nice flat level at the correct height, so that the first layer, which is the most important one, is actually well printed and everything else then follows. And the Bambu Lab X1 and the other printers have also, I mean, at least the X1, I think the P, I'm not sure if the P1P has the LiDAR. It has a LiDAR radar mounted inside the printer. And actually, when the first layer is put on, after that, the radar scans the first layer to detect defects, basically, and that it can actually stop the print if the first layer isn't good enough. Hasn't happened yet, but it's an amazing option, and there's a camera inside the printer too, so you can actually monitor your print from your phone, even if you're away, you can be 50 kilometers, 100 miles away, and you can actually monitor your print. Now, I don't advise anyone to leave your printer working while you're not there, but for short hops, like I went to the grocery store down there, and yeah, I left it on, and I just had a quick look. I went to the ophthalmologist actually also, and while I was in the waiting room, I checked the print. It's amazing. And the printer, anyway, will stop if it detects anything, any defect, anything that goes wrong. The radar, the LiDAR, will detect the problem and stop the print. And that's just so much safer, And I mean, you won't waste as much filament. And also loading and unloading the filament is very simple. You don't have to, load the head, the tip, heat up the tip to remove the filament. It's all done automatically. The head is cleaned up, the filament is cut. It's all automatic. One thing I'd like to point out is that this printer is so fast that you really shouldn't put your hands in there while it's printing. Actually, I wish there was a way to actually lock the door while the printer is in use, because I did reach in there once and the head just whipped around and almost caught my hand, and I got hurt a little bit. So really don't put your hands in there while the printer is working. And I really have nothing bad to say about this printer, except about the top glass that's going to end up on the floor because it's not attached. But otherwise, what a great tool. And if you print stuff, if you're into 3D printing, that's something that you might want to look at. The link is down below, so check it out, and you will see it again, no doubt, because that's going to be my printer, my everyday, my daily driver, if you will. And that's it for this video. Have a good one.